For more on that, I'm joined now by senior political and legal reporter at BuzzFeed, Chris Geidner. Chris, it's great to see you in person and to have you here. Your latest article focuses on the ruling about these three federal judges. What does it mean as we look at how domestic partnerships are equated to legal marriages in this country?
Yeah, after the Supreme Court ruled that DOMA couldn't limit the federal government from recognizing same-sex couples, the government has been going through the process, figuring out all of its programs, and allowed same-sex couples to get the same benefits if they're married. But the government has taken a strong position that that only applies to legal marriages. And now what happened was the federal judges who decide what the benefits are for judicial employees have decided that it wouldn't be right, it wouldn't be constitutional to treat domestic partners in states where they can't marry not as equal to married couples in states where same-sex couples can marry.
So they extend the net to cover those that would consider
what they've done is they sort of get around the fact that domestic partners aren't allowed to by basically offsetting the pay. And so what they're doing in this case is paying the woman for the treatment, for the insurance payments that she made for her domestic partner that she would have gotten covered if it was her spouse.
So as we look at that as a foundational basis from these three federal judges, what does it mean to the landscape of the country? Well,
because it was an administrative ruling that the judges made as sort of her employer, and it wasn't the same as a court ruling that would apply to any of the government, but it was three federal judges saying that they thought it would be unconstitutional if it was treated otherwise. And so as we move forward, this is certainly, it was a written opinion, and there's going to be a lot of lawyers out there in states with clients who are domestic partners saying, wait, we can use this in our case.
As a legal foundation.
Yeah.
Real quickly, though, as we look at Illinois, and they are having marriage equality come into effect over the next 6 months, but we mentioned this decision for this one couple who got this early exception, and this was Monday, and on Monday, couples are going to be allowed to marry in Hawaii. As we look at the overall of the country and where things have changed, and now we're up to the Sweet 16 number, right?
Yep.
Where do we go from here? And we can see how, you know, as you look at the West Coast and the East Coast and the central part of the country now, where the filtration is happening, where do we look to next?
Well, we're waiting on New Mexico. The judges there heard a ruling, heard a case about the fact that they're the one state left in the country that doesn't have either a ban on same-sex couples marrying in either statute or their state constitution, or have marriage equality already. And the justices of their state Supreme Court heard arguments, and we're going to find out sometime soon. There were five justices. They've got to figure it out and write a ruling, and we'll find out about New Mexico. But after then, we've got a difficult area where we're starting to hit up against this wall of the 31 states that have constitutional amendments banning same-sex couples from marrying, and so they either need to be overturned in a court or overturned by people.
And what do you make of Mary Cheney coming out and going to Indiana, this fundraiser that's coming up on December the 11th there, trying to draw attention to a bill, an amendment that they have there? I think it's H.R. 6?
Yeah, as we talk about all the progress on marriage equality, Indiana is still in the process of potentially passing an amendment to ban marriage equality, and Mary and Liz Cheney have made it clear that they're both going to keep this issue front and center of this sort of family squabble over the issue, and Mary willing to jump out, and she's not been a very public figure other than as the daughter of the former vice president, and her willingness to take on this public role by in the midst of all this coverage with her sister.
From a political standpoint, it's been fascinating to watch and to see how this has created such a divergent path for the family. And we'll see if Wyoming voters actually reward Liz for going against her family.
I mean, there are certainly people who have suggested to me that they think that this is the sort of situation that is probably a lot more of a setup than something that's a true fight.
Chris Geidner, great to see you, Chris. Happy holidays to you. Thanks so much.